Everyone, great day. I hope everyone is doing well today. My name is Nikki Cannon, and I'd like to welcome all of you to our special edition of our Black Excellence Corporate Overview here for WFG and Transamerica Financial Advisors. I'd especially like to welcome those of you who are guests and who are visiting us for the very first time. Thank you so much for joining us this evening to listen to our powerful crusade and our even more powerful business opportunity within the financial services industry, which right now is the #1 industry to be in, literally, for the next couple of decades. If you're wondering what WFG stands for, WFG stands for World Financial Group. We have marketing agreements with over 200 of Fortune 500 companies, banks, institutions, and insurance companies. We've surpassed companies that have been around for years, companies such as Charles Schwab and Merrill Lynch. And I am proud to announce today that not only has our broker-dealer Transamerica been recognized as the third largest broker-dealer in the US, but we've also been recognized as the #1 broker-dealer for women for 3 years in a row. And I'm proud to say I am a recipient and a part of that incredible movement and opportunity to be a part of that growth. And if that wasn't impressive enough, our parent company is Aegon, and they own both WFG and Transamerica. And tonight, you're going to hear a story of how a well-established company with $498 billion in assets stepped in the financial services industry and is now in the process of completely revolutionizing the financial services industry. Now, when I say revolutionizing, let's talk about what that means. So how many of us have an Amazon account? I know I do, right? Shopping is a whole new meaning nowadays. So many of us now shop on Amazon. Amazon completely revolutionized the way that we shop, as did Uber and Lyft revolutionize the way that we get around in transportation. So our company right now, you guys, our company right now is completely revolutionizing the way products and financial services are distributed in the marketplace. And with our motto of no family left behind, this is a movement that's going on in this country right now to correct an injustice, seriously, in the financial services industry. So without further ado, I want to introduce our two incredibly powerful speakers this evening. Our first speaker comes to us from Northern California. Incredible gentleman that I've had the opportunity to know and get to know better in the last few years. Incredible mentor. And this gentleman started from humble beginnings. He started out as an auto mechanic working in an auto mechanic shop. And he got introduced to our company. He started on a part-time basis, had no background in financial services, and really was just looking for an opportunity, was just looking for a chance, was just looking for an open door to be able to succeed at the highest levels. And the highest levels he has. This gentleman is now with his wife, Gabby, and their children in Northern California. They've just taken the company by storm. They're now over $750,000 earners with our company, on our way to $1 million. And they have over 15 offices, 13 ring earners on their teams, and over 42 SMBs, which are, what does that mean? Those are brokers. Those are individuals that he has mentored and trained and developed and given the same opportunity that he's been able to have with our WFG company. Our second speaker is our Senior Executive Vice Chairman, Dan Charlier. Now, Dan was born in Haiti and came to the United States when he was just 9 years old. His mother worked 3 jobs to be able to provide the ultimate American dream for her only son. After attending college, he joined the United States Marine Corps and became a Marine Corps drill instructor. But he realized that he was destined for greatness. And so when he was introduced to WFG, after being a part of the Marine Corps silent drill team and carrying the colors for 2 presidents at the White House, he realized there was so much more he could do with this American dream. So when he was introduced to our company, he started once again on a part-time basis with no financial services background or experience, but got started with our company and seized that dream. And he is now 22 years with our company. He's been recognized as MVP with our company 6 times. Like I said, he's achieved the level of Senior Executive Vice Chairman with over $1.2 million in earnings. He's founded our Black Leadership Excellence Council. He's also a member of the WFG President's Council, and he's also a winner and a recipient of the Los Angeles Vanguard African American Business Award multiple times. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get us started tonight with our first speaker, Mr. Paul Hart. Take it away, Paul.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you for the introduction, and we appreciate everybody coming out. We're in a time right now where there's a lot of distractions, there's a lot of distress, it's very uncertain. I know some people feel like they're not in control, and I believe that you're going to hear the best story in American business today for somebody who wants to grab control of their financial life, get in the driver's seat of their destiny, and take their family with them and be an inspiration to others to come along the journey with you. So that's a little bit about myself. You know, I came to this company 16 years ago. I was an automotive mechanic. I was 24 years old. I was living with my dad. I didn't even have a bank account, and I didn't know what a 401k was. So I think that the last thing you would think that I was going to be an expert in the financial industry. But this company, thank goodness, judges us from the outside, the inside out. We're not like every other company. They judge you from the outside in. And so we ask that you look at this through two sets of eyes. Well, my first question would be, you know, how many of you were invited by a friend, a family member, or somebody that you know? And then there's also always some people, how many of you have no idea why you're here? You think we're trying to sell you something. All right, we're going to sell you on hope and opportunity. I'm not the smartest person on the Zoom today, but I do know that I have a lot of common sense. And I heard a long time ago that common sense isn't very common, but I knew I wanted bigger and better, and I wanted more. And my dad sacrificed and got, you know, he lived in abject poverty from in the rural South, Jim Crow era, moved our family over here to California. And I said, the last thing I want to do is leave our family in the middle class. As much as our family did, my dad did the sacrifice, I got to find a way to escalate our economic status. And so I was told, like everybody else, go to school, get good grades, get a good job, and you find that track. And what I started to find out was there's noble jobs, but for me to have what I wanted to have, I needed to have a different education. How many of you ever go to the wealthy neighborhoods that were the affluent neighborhoods, and you kind of wonder, what do they do? You know, because my parents work hard. I was taught to work hard, and all the things that are more valuable than money, I was taught by my parents: how to be a good father, how to be a good husband, how to be honest with people, how to treat people correctly, you know, how to have a great work ethic. And so in my opinion, all those things are more valuable than money, but we're not gathered here to talk about that. We can learn about that on a Sunday. But we're going to bring you to financial church today, you know, and we're here to talk about money and career. I was reading a book. I used to drive to those neighborhoods, and nobody ever mentored me. And then finally, when I got introduced to this company, they told me to read a book called Think and Grow Rich. I've now been introduced to a book called Think and Grow Rich, The Black Choice. And I understand now, because we need to hear it from a lot of our own languages, our own experiences, because as you see what's going on, we suffer through different circumstances than a lot of other folks. But I do know that this is a company that if you have the desire inside to change your life, nobody can hold us back but us. The premise behind the book is you find somebody who's successful. If you want to be a millionaire, they didn't inherit the money, they didn't win the lottery, they did it legally, honestly, and ethically. And if you do what they did, because there's footprints, success leaves clues. If we copy what they did, we're going to have what they have. So let me ask you a question. Who's the first person or people that we learn about money from when we grow up? You probably would say your parents. Here's another question. What if your parents don't know anything about money? What if they don't understand investing? They don't understand tax advantages. They don't understand insurance. They don't understand business and getting incorporated and all these different things. Well, then it becomes the blind leading the blind. And that's why we're in this. I want to talk about generational wealth for everybody, but specifically for our people, because we've been living in this country for longer than we've been told, and we still keep starting out from square one. That's my beautiful family there. You know, as coming up as a mechanic, when my son loves cars, the old Paul Hart, other than being introduced to this company, would have told my son, you go become a mechanic just like daddy. Now we're talking about owning the dealership. Why become a mechanic when it's about thinking and growing rich and doing whatever you can do to better your life? Let's go own companies, and when we pass away, we pass generational wealth to the next, and we also pass down businesses and income. And that's what the next speaker is going to talk about. If I can have the next slide. So consider these options. And I'm sure you're going to know, if you're going to want to start a business, or you want to earn some additional income or go into business, you're going to want to know what we do is great. Do you know when somebody who can benefit from this message? And can this information impact you financially? Can you see this? See, what I found out was, I'm not going to talk about retirement, because retirement sounds like tired. We're going to talk about becoming financially independent, doing whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do it with, whomever you want to do it with. And so that's what it's all about. Are you intrigued by this business? You know, I didn't have a lot of knowledge, but I had common sense in terms of you'd be hard pressed to find a dentist who has bad teeth. You'd be hard pressed to find a hairstylist, well, not for me, that has bad hair. Just to the same, when I came here, I said, man, if the worst thing that's going to come out of this is I'm going to get a world-class financial education that San Jose State had not taught me. They taught me how to work for a paycheck, but never what to do with my paycheck after I made it. At least I can get an education here. And let me tell you this, you'd be hard pressed, again, common sense, to find a financial professional who doesn't do well financially, right? And we help everybody from all walks of life. Nobody ever introduced me. No Merrill Lynch, Charles Schwab, great companies, they do what they do, but none of them were knocking down my door to invite a 24-year-old kid, a punk kid living with his dad, to start saving and investing money because we didn't have any money. Financial companies only want to target people who already have money, and everybody else gets left behind. See, this has come from just a way to make an income, a way to pay our bills, a way to get financially free, to a crusade and a cause that can weather the test of time. I was told by the founder of our company, one of the co-founders, our company is up 70% over last year. And last year was a record year. And we have suffered through every financial downturn than everybody else, even through a quarantine. And we're still in shelter in place in California, and we're up 70%. Let me share with you why and the power of what we do. So we have strength on our side. This isn't we're not, we don't come to people's homes or do business with our office in the back of our trunk. Like Nikki said, we're owned by a company called Aegon, our parent company. And we have a lot of other affiliate companies like Transamerica up the way here in the Bay Area, and the iconic building that they own. If I can have the next slide. So we're not going anywhere, and we've weathered every economic storm. Even though, so this is our money menu. Even though that we represent Transamerica, and that's our sister company, we are a marketing company. So we don't represent our company to the clients. We represent our clients to these various companies. And just like she mentioned, Amazon and Walmart and Costco, except these companies, they bend over backwards to service the needs of our clients, or else we'll go elsewhere. You might have heard of a company called Everest, Nationwide, Pacific Life, the big whale jumping in the ocean, Transamerica, Voya. The list goes on and on. Just about 100 plus companies that we do business with. And some of the terms: fixed annuities, life insurance, index universal life, long-term care. Let me ask you a question. How many people know what an annuity is and exactly how it works and if it can benefit you? The answer is probably no. Most of the times it's crickets when I ask that question. See, again, I've recruited financial majors that know how to make a company's finances better, but they don't know what to do with their own major. And there's an issue with that. We're taught all kind of stuff, but we're not taught about the most important things that are going to impact us once we leave school and get into the workforce. Where can we get that education? Here. If I can have the next slide. I'm just going to go briefly, but the 4 financial cornerstones: protection. Of course, when a COVID-19 hits, you don't want to see your account plummet within a week's time. Metaphorically speaking, what if a COVID-20 hits or something else around the corner? It's just a matter of time that history repeats itself, and how soon do we forget? We got to protect our money. We got to protect our families. There's never a better time to do that when there's an infectious disease running around and we're running through turbulent economic times right now. Let's protect our family. I've seen people's livelihoods disappear overnight because of a microscopic virus. And thank goodness we did not. So we have the cure, at least the financial cure. Growth. We got to grow our money. We can't just let it collect dust under the mattress. And that's one of the things. My dad grew up in the Depression era where he learned how to save money, but he never knew where to put it. And that's what I had to teach him, but it was almost too late. He was in his 60s. What about safety? What about if something was to happen, am I going to be safe? And then tax advantages. So when I need my money, can I get my money, or does the IRS always intercept my money before I even get to catch it? So those are some of the cornerstones that we're going to talk about briefly. So if anybody ever heard of the rule of 72, it's called the law of compound interest. And Albert Einstein popularized this. And what you do is you take the interest rate you're receiving on your money, you divide that into 72, and that's how long it'll take your money to double. Why is it 72? I don't know. I just got common sense. I put my money in there. It grew. That's all I needed to know. So let's say, where's the first place that we're taught or that comes to mind where people go to save their money? I think you would all say the bank. At least it's a step up from under the mattress, right? Now, what kind of returns does the bank give us? Less than 1%, maybe 0.5, maybe 0.25. So let's just say 1%. One goes into 72 times. So now I can project that my money is going to double every 72 years at 1%. So if a 29-year-old deposits 10,000 and then lets it go, 72 years later, we can look at our account and expect around 101 years old to have about 20 grand. Now, let me ask you a question. What are you more excited about, having 20 grand or being 101 years old, or neither? Because if all you got is a 20 grand at 101, you're shot, right? Now, let's talk about a CD. Maybe a CD's paying 1% now, but let's just say back when I got involved in the business, they were paying 4. 4 goes into 72 18 times. So if I'm putting my money away at 4%, my money's going to double every 18 years. So the same 29-year-old deposits 10,000, looks up 18 years later, 47 years old, the money grew to 20. And then now we have a compounding effect at 65 years old, the 20 now doubled to 40. What's the significance of the age 65? It's quote unquote retirement that we heard from maybe our parents or our grandparents that actually had pensions. But nowadays they swapped pensions with 401ks, and they give the employee an illusion that the company's providing our retirement, but really they're giving us an empty account with a 1-800 number and say, figure it out on your own. And so now what we see is an epidemic, because I can only speak on what happens in the United States, of financial illiteracy and hardships. So if I put my money in the bank, what does the bank do with it? They lend it out. They make money some kind of way. And so they're going to lend it out: credit cards, home loans, car loans, student loans. They're in the lending business. There's not much money at the bank. So they pay us very minimal interest so that they can lend it out at a higher interest and make the difference. We already know credit cards can exceed 10%, but let's just say they're putting it away at 10%. 10 goes into 72, we'll just say 7 times. Money doubles every 7 years. So look at the 4%. I put my money in at 4%. I think I'm doing well. They take my money behind the scenes, lend it out to somebody else at 10. That original 10 grand doubling every 7 years, 10 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 80, 160, 320. By the time we both turn 65 and my money's been sitting with the bank, it's actually grown to 320. But because I was illiterate, because I was uninformed, because I had the wool pulled over my eyes, I signed up for 40 and thought I did well. Ignorance is bliss, I would assume. So the banks just collected $280,000 off of my money because I didn't understand the time value of money. I didn't understand it, and we didn't get taught that. So here's a simple question. Would you rather put your money in the bank, or would you rather put your money where the bank puts it? And I think that's pretty simple. Now, interest works against us the same way. And the reason we're constantly in the rat race is just a matter of mathematics. If I'm paying more interest than I'm earning, I'm never going to get out of this. And it's one of my passions now. They used to give away credit cards on college campuses when I was coming up. I think they've outlawed that now. Now everybody's starting out with student debt. Student debt now is the one debt you cannot eliminate with bankruptcy. So they're putting the shackles on our people and enslaving them fresh out of college. And you got to get, and it doesn't matter. I got a lot of people that are my clients, and they're all in the same situation. And so we got to make a change. We got to get a financial education. You would think, what's the #1 language to speak in America? English. Somebody else might say Spanish. Well, I would suggest it's the money language. And if we don't learn that language, we're not going to do well. So we got to get better at that. If I can, and that's a universal language. So now I know how interest can affect my money. What about where I park my money? The growth options. Fixed. Looks safe, doesn't it? People are thinking safety. Well, there's something that comes in to play called inflation. And if I'm young and I'm putting my money away and inflation is growing higher than the interest on my money, I'm actually losing value on my money. Somebody said CDs stand for Certificate of Depreciation. So if 10 grand right now isn't going to be what 10 grand is 30 years from now. Neither is $1 million. Now, what are fixed for? Those are for elderly people possibly, or maybe if your situation would permit it, but everybody's different. We can't just diagnose you with a 1-800 number. Right? We have to get together, know your family, etc. And that's what we spend time face to face or Zoom to Zoom to get this done. But what if you spent your whole life saving money like a lot of baby boomers right now, and they just want to protect what they got? Well, that's what you got. What about variable? Well, everybody is. The market goes up. As we all know, the market comes down. It goes up. It comes down. Looks like a heart monitor. And you don't want to be dealing with that. The number one cause of stress is financial stress. The number one cause of divorce is financial difficulties. If we're going to build, it's my belief that we need to build up the household in our communities. And we need to do that. And we need to educate because if nobody else is going to do it, we got to go do it. We got to be an example of saving, investing, living below our means, business ownership. And people do what they see, not what we tell them. I remember my dad used to tell me a lot of stuff, but I only did what I watched him do. And so I'm so grateful now we get to work from home. Our kids see us working, changing people's lives, investing money. I'm telling my son about investing money and putting it away and sacrificing. He had to lend me money to go to the store the other day because I didn't want to go to the bank. And I said, you better charge me interest on that. He's like, what's that, Daddy? And so we're going to get them a financial education before they're 6, 7, 8 years old. They're going to know more than most 40, 50, 60-year-olds. And then when we pass this to the next generation, they're going to know what to do. How about indexed? Indexed is a hybrid. What if there was an account when the stock market goes up, your money goes up, but when the stock market crashes, you lock in that gain. And then when the market comes back up, your money goes up, and when the stock market, not if, but when, you lock in the next gain. Would you had to have suffered what you dealt with in March? Or would you already be ahead of the game as the market's climbing itself out? What about back in 2008? Would you have been able to retire with dignity, or did you have to go back to work and do it all over again? So we can make a change and get together with the person that introduced you here, and we're going to sort this stuff out. If I can have the next slide and one of the final slides here, let's talk about taxes. It's not what you make, it's what you get to take home. 3 ways to register your money: tax now, tax later, tax never. Let me ask you a question. Where would you rather have all your money? Simple as that. Where's most people's money? 401k. You go, see, it's my opinion, it's herd retirement planning now. It's like it's the same prescription for everybody. How old are you? What are your goals? Don't care. 401k. What about you? Do you own a home? Do you have kids? Don't care. 401k. You can't do that. You got to get to know. I don't want to retire. I was financially independent before I was 30 years old. Okay? So I don't want to have to put my money into an account that I can't touch till I'm 60. So all of a sudden you cast my retirement 30 years out. And then if I lose my job, I got to pull out money. I got to suffer penalties and start all over. I'm not saying that any of these accounts are the wrong thing. I'm just saying we need to be educated on it. And we need to know what our options are. And if nobody's ever shared with you what your options are, you're in the right place today. Now, tax advantage. I like that. I was young. I said, you mean to tell me I pay gas taxes, you pay property taxes, you go to the grocery store and you pay sales taxes, you pay all kind of taxes. You pay taxes you don't even know that you're paying, income taxes, etc. Is it too much to ask that I learn about this, our families learn about this, and I get some kind of tax advantages? I know the wealthy are doing something. You know what I found out? They're not smarter, they're not better, they just know the rules of the game. Here's the question. What if you were to play a game and you didn't know the rules? And the people you were playing against not only knew the rules, but knew the strategy. What are the chances are you're going to win? What about if 100 years goes by? What are the chances are your people are going to win? What about 200 years goes by? Chances are we're not going to know. All right. So it's got to stop here. One family, and the next speaker is going to talk about this, one lifetime can change the stars of every generation to follow you with the right platform and the right opportunity. We know how to hustle. We know how to work hard. But sometimes I've never been taught where to place my time and attention and to where to place my money so I can become financially free and not have to suffer the stress that a lot of these economic downturns turn on us. And the last slide, we have something called a financial needs analysis. Let me ask you a question. If you were to drive, and I'll ask this to the men, I'm going to ask this to the women. If you were to drive from here to New York or wherever you are, if you're in New York coming out to California, would you get a GPS or would you just wing it? Now, my pops is old school. He would never ask for directions, and I think men, we'll go to our death with our ego thinking that we're right. But what happens if I don't get a GPS, I don't get a map? I'm going to waste a whole lot of time. I might waste a whole lot of money, and I might never get to my destination. True or not true, right? So what about a financial map? What about how much do I need to save? Am I on track? Do I got to recalculate the route? What about a financial map? Rather than not even wanting to open up our 401k envelopes, keeping our fingers crossed, one of my mentors said, hope is not a strategy. We can't just hope we're going to get to financial freedom. We can't just hope there is no recession that wipes out our career. We got to take control. We have a 6-step financial needs analysis. Most important one, number one, by far, cash flow. Next speaker is going to talk about that. And that's the thing I needed before I really got into saving money. Earning additional expenses, income, managing expenses. Let me ask you this. What would an extra $2,000 or $3,000 do? Not a one-time COVID stimulus package or twice, but what would an extra $2,000 or $3,000 a month coming in from the privacy of your own home as a flexible spare time income, what would that do? How would your retirement look? How would your kids' college education look? How quickly could you pay off your debt? Number two, emergency funds. Save 3 to 6 months expenses, not if, but when an emergency occurs, other than that credit card. Number three, debt management. That's usually our emergency fund, and then we start the process all over again when we get into an emergency. How about protection? I sit down with families and I ask them, how much protection do you have on the money machine of this family? If you had a money machine, would you protect it? Everybody would. You can push a button, it would produce legal tender. Would you protect it? Absolutely. Well, then when I sit with the family, the question would be, how much protection do you have on the money machine? Because as a husband, as a father, I'm a money machine. If I die, other than our business, if I was still a mechanic, the buck stops there. So we got to have some protection. There's families out there that passed away because of this, my heart goes out because of this virus, and they were stranded and they were stuck, and maybe the surviving spouse doesn't even have a job. We can change all of that. We're the one company that you came here. We're not asking you to leave with less money than you came here with. We're the one company, when you come, you're going to end up with more money than you came here with. Number five, building wealth. We just talked about that. Outpacing inflation, reducing taxes, and then having professionals watch your money so we can go do what we do. And then last but not least, preserving. You got living trust, you got wills, there's words called probate, there's words called attorneys, there's words called Uncle Sam, death taxes, people trying to get their hands on your money. They taxed you all the way up to when you passed away, and they're even going to get their hands on it and wear you out when you're gone. What if you knew how to resolve all those issues? Would our people benefit from that? Can you see a value in this? So I want to bring up the next speaker, because if you can taste a hamburger and you knew everybody would like it and everybody would need it, I say, what if you had the cure to COVID? People say, I'm not good at sales. I talk to somebody, what if you had the cure to COVID? And somebody can take that vitamin, whatever it is, and they can walk out and resume life as normal. They can take off their face mask. They will never get it. They will never give it to anybody else. They never have to worry about COVID the rest of their life. Would you have to be a salesperson to sell that? By tomorrow, you can resume life as normal. So we don't have the cure to that, but what's going on right now that's affecting everybody is financial COVID, financial cancer. People are eroding away, and we do have the solution to that. And the next speaker that's coming up, I really related to him. When I came into the business, I didn't see too many people with my complexion. I didn't see too many people that kind of talked the way I talk and kind of came up the way I came up and knew what I knew. And I didn't even know if this was the right place for me, but I said, I have no risk in trying. And then I seen Dan Charlier get on stage, and not only did he speak my language, and not only did I relate and believe if he can do it, I can do it. Not only did he take an interest, and when I've met him when he was already a multi-millionaire and I was broke, this gentleman reached out, grabbed his hand, and pulled me up to the next level. And I not only related to him with his bald head. So I appreciate you, Dan. You not only changed my life, my friend, you've changed the lives of many others and many others to come. You've been a blessing in our company and a blessing to others that aren't in our company. And I want to pass the floor to you, man, so you can close it out. So with no further ado, the great Dan Charlier.
Paul. I get so excited when I hear you talk, Paul. What an amazing way to communicate our company's message. I'm excited to be with you guys here tonight just for a few minutes, but there's 3 specific questions that should be answered for you tonight. Question number 1 is this a credible company? And that was a very important question for me, because I walked away from a 13-year military career. I started part-time here, but I walked away from a 13-year military career to do this full-time. So when I got started here in 1998, I wanted to make sure that this was going to be around long-term. And I've been here now for 22 years and so excited, so fired up. The second question that should be answered for you tonight, what is it that we do? And Paul did a great job going over our crusade of financial literacy and really educating families and really realize that mathematically, it's impossible for you to become financially independent and debt-free if you don't know the rules of the game. The third question that should be answered for you tonight is there an opportunity? Is there income opportunity? You know, the financial literacy part is awesome. The credibility of the company is awesome. But to be honest with you, that's not what changed my life. What changed my life is that someone gave me an opportunity. I met my mentor, a gentleman by the name of Ed Milet, and he was 29 years old at the time, and I was 33. He was making $50,000 a month, and I was making $2,800 a month as a Marine, a very decorated Marine. I spent 13 years in the Marine Corps. 2 of those years, I was a Marine Corps drone instructor down at Parris Island. 2 of those years, I was the 23rd Color Sergeant of the Marine Corps, entrusted in carrying the colors at the White House for the president. And one of those years, I was in charge of the Marine Corps Silent Drill Team, which is the #1 drill team in the world. But my original job in the military was aircraft rescue. I was a firefighter. And my goal was I was going to do 30 years in the Marine Corps, which means I would have retired about 3 years ago. And my retirement would have been about $2,800 a month after 30 years in the Marine Corps. That's what I was looking at. So in 1998, when I saw this opportunity and I met my mentor, I said, you know what do I have to lose? I got started part-time. 10 months later, I walked away from my military career and I came full-time. And I want to share with you a little bit about the opportunity, right? So if we go to my next slide, one of the things about our business platform, there's no financial service experience necessary. So when I got started here in 1998, you know, when you hear Paul talk about the Rule 72 and compound interest, that was like someone was speaking a different language to me. I was my entire life, I was like broke, living payday to payday, struggling financially. So I knew nothing about financial services. And to be honest with you, one of the challenges that I had, I was like, how am I going to give financial advice when I don't know anything about it? So I was excited to know that I didn't have to have financial service experience necessary to get started here. A second thing is I was able to start part-time. You know, as a Marine, I was working a very intense schedule, 24 hours on, 24 hours off, 48 hours on, 48 hours off. So one of the beautiful thing about it is that I was able to start part-time. I didn't have to leave my military career, which was awesome. There's no time clock here. We're entrepreneurs. We're 1099, independent contractor, which is awesome. I love the fact that I don't have to wake up an alarm clock. All my life, I woke up to an alarm clock and I had a boss. And I love the fact that, you know, you're building your own business, which means that you could pass your business down to your family, to your kids. And I was excited about that. Unlimited earning potential. I remember the first time my mentor said to me, he says, Charlier, I want you to imagine what if, he says, you don't have to believe it, but what if you could turn your annual income into a monthly one? I remember thinking about this. This is back in probably 99. I remember thinking about that. Man, if I was able to make what I make a year, if I was to make that in a month, I was like, oh man, how excited would that be? And I remember when that happened, right? So you have unlimited earning potential here. You could make a lot of money and you could also make nothing, right? So it depends on your ability. Do you have a burning desire to do something great? Leadership development and mentoring business model. I think one of the things that, whether I was in the military or when I became an entrepreneur here with World Financial Group, is that I've always found successful people and I've always put myself in a position where I can be mentored by the doers, mentored by the people that are actually doing that. We have that here. We got Strength on Your Side, the Power of Choice, which Paul talked about, business expansion. We're licensed to do business in all 50 states, including Canada and Puerto Rico. We have a system here, which is really, really powerful. We have a system that brings the community to us. So which means that we don't have to knock on doors. We don't do cold calls. We don't send out flyers. We don't buy leads, which is very powerful. We got an equal opportunity for all, a diversified field force. We're growing the underserved market. You know, in 1998, when I was struggling financially, right, I was looking for an opportunity. I was looking for a mentor. And you know what blows me away after 22 years and making millions and millions and millions of dollars, and my team making millions of dollars. So excited to see. And I think about what it cost me to get started. I started my company here with $100. Man, I think about that. That's when I say I believe this is the number one business opportunity, bar none. Because I think about that. I go, where could you start a business with like $100? It was just like incredible opportunity. We've got the financial needs analysis that Paul talked about, all the affiliate company, world-class recognition. This Friday, tomorrow actually, Friday and Saturday, we have our company convention. We'll probably have close to 100,000 people, and we're doing it virtually. If you get an opportunity to go to our convention, you guys, it's mind-blowing. I remember the first time I went to my first convention back in 1998. This will be my 23rd convention. It's life-changing where you get a chance to see so many people that are winning. You get a chance to be part of an environment that recognizes you, that praises you, that lifts you up. And you got technology too. So we got access to all of that. And our platform is available to the average person, right? So we sit down with people that are making a lot of money, and we sit down with people like myself that was struggling financially, that was making $30,000, $40,000 a year. If you take a look at, for example, the IRS put out a publication, they said 93% of the population makes less than $100,000 a year. 50% of that 93% makes less than $28,000 a year, right? But we've got multiple streams of income. We've got personal income. You have to get a life license with the state of California or whatever state that you're in. It's an easy course that you do online. 60% is passed in California. Agency income, your ability to build a team. Expansion income, which means that you could be expand in all 50 states. Bonus income, we participate in multiple bonuses on a monthly basis. And we also have reoccurring income, which is residual income because we're dealing with insurance and investment-based products. Now, if you become a broker with us, now, sometimes people say, Dan, how long does it take to become a broker? I don't know. It depends on how motivated you are. We have promotion guidelines. I did it my first 60 days. We have people that do it really fast. But if you're a broker with us and you have your life and securities license, and you're not even a player, no one really knows your name. An average broker is making $64,000 a year, and that's 1099 income, right? Now, if you're a player in that area, you're making at least $1 million a year. If you're a broker, you have all your licenses, right? Life, security, and advisory. The average broker in that area is making $86,000 a year, which if you had a job and you were W-2, you would need to make at least $120,000 a year to net $86,000. If you're a player in that area, you're making at least $1 million a year. If you're an executive market director, like Nikki Cannon, the young lady that introduced us, you're making at least $193,000. That's if you're average, right? If you're a player in that area, you're making $2 million a year. If you're a CEO, within our company, the average CEO is making about $350,000 a year, all the way up to 2.9. And if you're an executive vice chairman, the average executive vice chairman is making $823,000 a year, all the way up to $1 million a month. So we have an unbelievable platform for you to build a business. So when I got started here, you guys, the extent of my vision is that I wanted to make an extra $1,000 or $2,000 a month so I can retire my mom. And I remember when I got out the Marine Corps in 1999, I went full-time my first 10 months, made $180,000, retired my mom, and my mom hasn't had to work since 1999. So I'm super excited about that. And I'll tell you, I believe that this is the number one business opportunity, bar none, because it gives the average person a shot at the big leagues. And the big leagues is your life, right? So if we move to the next slide. Now, what we've done is we create a Black Excellence Leadership Council, which is really, really powerful. And one of the things that we talk about with the Black Excellence Leadership Council is that and I've been saying this for years, but we've actually took action on it now. We need more people like us that are winning, that are local examples from all different backgrounds. If you see all of these leaders here, these are the heroes. These are the real heroes. Some of you are on their teams. Some of you you're looking at this for the first time, and you now have access to leaders in the African American community that are teeing it up, See, one of the things that's powerful, you guys, because these leaders, they've done it, they're actually doing it, and there's a platform now that they can give you an opportunity, not just advice, not just coaching, not just to motivate you, not just to inspire you, but they can actually give you a platform for you to go build a business. See, if you want to win, you want to succeed, first thing, you got to decide. You got to decide. If I asked you right now, if you make as much money the next 5 years as you did the last 5 years, would you be satisfied? If the answer is no, now if the answer is yes, I want to challenge you. You got to take a look at the people that you're hanging around with. See, when you start hanging around winners, the people that are thriving in their lives, here's what starts to happen. You start to get uncomfortable. I remember when I first started spending time with my mentor, Ed Milet. He's making $50,000 a month, and I'm making $3,000 a month. You know what I started to realize really quick? My life sucked, period. End of discussion. I was just like broke, living payday to payday. And he said, hey, Charlie, if you want the next 5 years to be different, you got to change your associations. You got to change your environment. You got to start spending some time with leaders that are winning and that are thriving. All of you that are listening tonight, you got the opportunity. These leaders, I would go through all the names, but these leaders are teeing it up, and they're building great businesses in their local community, and they're living their dream. Which is really powerful. So I want to feature a couple of them. If you pull up the next page, you got Lester and Kirsten Barron, executive marketing director. They're based in California, earning over $300,000 a year. You take a look at that, right? We throw these numbers. That's $25,000, $30,000 a month, right? Building a great business, great couple on their way to $500,000, on their way to 750, on their way to $1 million a year, which is exciting. Then you have the next one. You have Alex and Stephanie Haynes, executive marketing director. They're out in San Diego, California. What a wonderful couple with a wonderful family and their kids. I follow them on Instagram. They're always having such a great time, but at the same time, they're building great business. They're making over $700,000 a year. Some of you have access to these leaders, right? That they have a vested interest in helping you with your success. And imagine this, you guys. All of these guys got started just like this. I mean, in 1999, I looked at the opportunity like this, and I got started, right? And I had access to one of my mentors like this, and I got a chance to build a company. Then you have the next one, which is Daniel and Dr. Linda Fumbo. Oh my God, one of my favorite couples, right? I think they've been in the business for less than 4 years. They're already at $1.3 million a year, making close to over $150,000 a month. That's incredible, right? Incredible. And they got started less than 4 years ago with a $100 membership agreement. See, what we want to do in the African-American community is we want to give opportunity, right? Financial literacy is great. Financial education is great, but that's not what changed my life. What changed my life is I had a coach. I had a mentor that said, hey, you want to live the rest of your life on $2,800 and trying to figure out how to budget? Or do you want to expand your income? You want to take it from $2,800 to $5,000 to $6,000 to $10,000 a month, right? And up, right? So I'm excited about this. I'm excited. There's 3 types of people that are looking at the opportunity. Some of you are looking at it, you're already financially independent. And you're looking at the opportunity, you're going, well, wait a minute. I love for someone, I've got a 401k, I got a 403b, I've got an IRA, I got a deferred comp. I would love for an advisor to sit down with me. One of the beautiful things about our company, you guys, is we don't represent any individual company. We don't wear anybody's jersey. So we can take a look at what you have and we can shop the market for you. This is an industry that's constantly evolving. Products that were available 5, 10, 15 years ago, they're irrelevant now because the industry is constantly, and we'll do that complimentary for free. Now that blows people away when we say we do that for free, the financial literacy. You know what we found out? If you do a good job and you provide value for families across the kitchen table, you know what they do? They introduce you to everyone they know. I remember when I found out this information, I had my financial needs analysis done. I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, everybody I know needs to see this information. Now, some of you are looking at there's second type of person here. Some of you are like me. You don't hate your job. You love what you do. Even though unemployment's at 58 million people file for unemployment since the pandemic, right? 1 million a week. So if you're fortunate and you still got a job, because I think that's an old narrative, and you might love your company and you think you're going to be there for 25, 30 years, but you like me, you're just like, you know what? I just want to make some part-time money. I want to be part of a winning environment. I want to associate. I want to feel like I'm growing. Want to feel like I'm alive, right? You want to start part-time. Most of our brokers start on a part-time basis. Most of our agents start on a part-time basis, which is really powerful. I did part-time for like 10 months before I went full-time. Now, some of you are looking at the opportunity. You got a couple $1 million saved and you're thinking about going to buy a building, or you're thinking about going to buy a franchise. And you're saying, wait a minute, Charlie, you mean to tell me I can have access to a platform like this and I don't have to write a check for $300,000, $500,000, $750,000, $1 million, right? You want to get with one of the top leaders and go, hey, I see this. I want to go full time. You might be in a financial service industry already. You might be in real estate. You might be in a mortgage industry. Maybe you're a doctor. Maybe you're a professional, what it is that you're doing. Maybe you're making a couple of $100,000 a year, maybe a couple of $1 million a year already. And money's not the issue for you. The issue is time, right? So we have a system here. So if you're interested in becoming a client, right? Fill that out. Fill the information out as it comes in front of your screen. If you're interested in doing part-time, we do an interview. The interview's done within 15 to 20 minutes. Today, we kind of jumped up and down to tell you how great we are. Doing the interview, we get a chance to find out about you, right? And once we do that interview, we get you started. Now, I want to challenge you. We have a convention. We have a company convention tomorrow. So I want to challenge you to get your interview done tonight, right? And tell the person that interviewed you and say, hey, Charlier said it's something about this convention. I got to get to this convention, and get to the company convention. It's going to blow you away. It's like $25, and you could do it online, watch it on your computer, watch it on your phone, but this is exciting. Now, the next slide I'm going to show you is that we're going to do an event. We're going to do an event, the Black Excellence Leadership Council. You're going to have access to these leaders from all different walks. See, we want to get you around winners real quick, because the conversation around winners, right? People that look like us, we're going to specific. Now, World Financial Group is open to everybody, whether you're black, white, tall, short, fat, skinny, woman, man. We've got a well-diverse company, right? But you know what we're going to do the next 5 to 10 years? We're going to focus on lifting specifically the African-American community. So if you're African-American, guess what, right? This is specifically for you. You're going to be so excited. We're going to give you access to leaders that are teaming it up, that are winning. You're going to be part of this association. And this is so powerful. And we're launching this October 3rd from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I hope to see you there, see you at convention. I hope you're excited. And I want to leave you with one thing. This is your shot at the big time. Thank the person that invited you tonight, because I remember my mentor said to me, he said, Charlier, this is your shot at the big time. You better go for it. The window of opportunity is open. So see you guys. Thank you guys. See you guys at the company convention.